It may sound like there's not much to discuss when it comes to the question, is Donald Trump a narcissist? Even his biggest supporters would probably admit that he has a strong narcissistic nature. But today, we're going to dive deeper. Is Donald Trump really a narcissist? Or is it maybe just a bit more complicated than we might initially think? We will first explore 8 reasons why Trump can easily be classified as a top-grade narcissist, but also, to make the argument stronger and give a few potential counterpoints, we will explore a few reasons why he may not actually be a narcissist near the end of the video. It's going to be a stormy ride delving into the psyche of one of the most criticized but also one of the most influential people of our time, so let's begin. Reason 1. Grandiose sense of self-importance. Alright, let's start with one of the most obvious traits that screams narcissism, a grandiose sense of self-importance. And let's be real, Trump has made no secret of how much he thinks of himself. From calling himself a very stable genius to boasting that he's the greatest president in history, Trump often talks about himself in exaggerated terms. He's not shy about claiming to be the best, the smartest, or the most successful. We've all seen it, whether it's on Twitter or in his speeches, he constantly elevates his own achievements. Narcissists tend to do this, often inflating their accomplishments to the point where they feel unbeatable, and Trump does this all the time. Reason 2. Constant need for admiration. Next we have his constant need for admiration. Narcissists love being praised, and for Trump, the adulation is like oxygen. He thrives on it. Whether it's cheering crowds at his rallies or praise from Fox News, Trump often seems to feed off that attention. His rallies are a perfect example. The way he repeats phrases like "we're going to win so much," "you're going to be sick of winning," or "the crowd is huge tonight" shows his need for constant validation. He wants to feel adored, and when he doesn't get that, it doesn't go unnoticed. Clear Narcissism 101. Reason 3. Lack of empathy. Another key feature of narcissism is a lack of empathy. Narcissists often fail to recognize or care about the feelings of others, and they tend to disregard the needs and wants of people around them unless it benefits them. In Trump's case, this shows up in how he treats those who disagree with him. His response to criticism is often personal, hostile, and dismissive, and he doesn't hesitate to belittle or insult people who challenge him. Think about how he's called people like Hillary Clinton Crooked Hillary, calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, calling Ted Cruz Lying Ted, calling Jeb Bush Low Energy Jeb, or calling his opponents weak or stupid, or even worse, how he handled the families of fallen soldiers during his presidency. This shows a distinct lack of empathy for others' emotional experiences. Reason 4. Sense of entitlement. Next, let's talk about entitlement. Narcissists often believe that they are entitled to special treatment, and Trump's behavior as both a businessman and a politician fits this mold. Consider his constant insistence that he is owed respect or that people owe him loyalty. Whether it's his demand that world leaders treat him like royalty or his push for special privileges, Trump has made it clear he feels entitled to an extraordinary level of respect and admiration. This sense of entitlement doesn't just apply to his personal relationships, either, it's reflected in his business dealings and political career as well. It is very likely that his unhealthy sense of entitlement stems from his childhood, being raised by a wealthy businessman and inheriting fortunes. Still, that has contributed to developing his narcissism further, and today many believe the US public is paying the price. Reason 5. Exploitative behavior. Exploitation is another classic narcissistic trait. Narcissists tend to use others for personal gain without concern for how it affects the other person. And this is something Trump has been accused of throughout his life, especially in his business dealings. Take his companies, for instance. There are numerous allegations of Trump exploiting workers, contractors, and even whole communities to further his personal brand. He's been known to use other people's money to fund his ventures, and his businesses often function in ways that favor his personal wealth and success above all else. He's also been accused of not paying his contractors or other people who have worked for them, forcing many people and businesses into bankruptcy. Even in politics, many of his decisions seem to be about what's best for him rather than the country. Reason 6. Vanity and obsession with appearance. The next reason is his obsession with appearance. Narcissists often place immense importance on how they look and how others perceive them. For Trump, this has been a big deal, especially in his public life. From his elaborate hairstyles to his expensive suits and golden buildings, Trump seems to care a lot about how he is viewed in the public eye. He's often seen boasting about his own looks, especially when compared to others. His obsession with image comes through in almost everything he does, from the branding of his businesses to his personal social media presence. Reason 7. Reacting poorly to criticism. We've all seen it. Trump doesn't handle criticism well. Narcissists often cannot handle being criticized. And boy, does Trump prove this time and time again. When he's criticized, whether it's by the media, a political opponent, or even someone from his own party, Trump's typical response is to lash out. He's known for calling critics losers, liars, or even worse. Instead of owning up to mistakes or acknowledging differing opinions, Trump deflects, attacks, and belittles anyone who dares to challenge him. That's a textbook narcissistic defense mechanism, denying or diminishing criticism to protect one's fragile self-esteem. Reason 8. Superficial charm and charisma. Finally, let's talk about Trump's superficial charm and charisma. Narcissists often possess an ability to charm people, drawing them in with their confident, larger-than-life persona. This is a key tactic they use to win admiration and manipulate others into doing their bidding. Trump has definitely mastered this. His bombastic style and outlandish statements have a way of pulling people in, making them feel like they're part of something bigger. His magnetic presence draws crowds of people to listen to his speeches, even when his speeches lack true depth or meaning. He doesn't shy away from using this charm to create strong followings, even if it's superficial or based on flashy promises that may or may not be realistic. Now, as much as it seems like Trump ticks all the boxes for narcissism, there's actually a flip side to this. Is he really a textbook narcissist, or is it just his personality combined with the intense spotlight that makes him seem this way? Let's consider some counterpoints. Counterpoint 1. Strategic personality versus narcissism. One reason why some people argue Trump may not be a narcissist is that his behavior could be more about strategy than an inherent personality flaw. Trump has always been a businessman, and his persona as a brash, confident, and domineering leader could be part of his business model. Many of his actions, like the exaggerated self-promotion or the way he brushes off criticism, might just be tactics to win supporters and stay in control of the narrative. He's playing a role, one that's designed to make him seem like an invincible, larger-than-life character, which is what attracts voters and followers. So, while it might look like narcissism, it could simply be a persona he's cultivated to win and maintain power. Counterpoint 2. Leadership in crisis. Another thing to consider is his leadership during crises. Some argue that genuine narcissists would avoid situations where their image could be tarnished, but Trump stepped into the presidency during some major global and domestic crises, and he didn't shy away from making tough calls, even when they were controversial. His decision to prioritize certain policies or actions during a national emergency can be seen as part of his role as a leader, not necessarily as an expression of narcissism. It's possible that his extreme self-confidence is a necessary trait for someone in his position, even if it borders on arrogance. Counterpoint 3. Vulnerability in private life. Finally, we have to look at the private side of Trump. Narcissists often maintain a very consistent public persona, but in private, they tend to be incredibly insecure. Some argue that Trump's family relationships, particularly with his children, show a level of care and vulnerability that doesn't fit the typical narcissistic profile. While he might be outspoken and bombastic in public, behind closed doors, he might not be as self-absorbed as some would think. If anything, his attention to his family shows that his motivations might be more about legacy and power than personal glorification. So, is Donald Trump a narcissist? The answer isn't that simple. Sure, he exhibits many traits that align with narcissism: grandiosity, need for admiration, lack of empathy, but it's also possible that his behavior is strategic, a byproduct of the high-pressure, high-profile world he inhabits. At the end of the day, it's not so black and white. Narcissism is complex, and people are multifaceted. So while Trump might show some narcissistic traits, labeling him as a full-fledged narcissist might be oversimplifying the issue. In any case, it's probably safe to say that calling him a narcissist doesn't surprise anyone, and even though that's not a clinical or psychiatric evaluation, there is a big likelihood it's close to the truth. What do you think? Do you see Trump as a classic narcissist, or is there more to the story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Check out our video on whether Elon Musk is a narcissist next.